that maybe a Bel Air was their thing. And then you've got people in their 50s, maybe they want an Impala. And then you've got, the younger generations. I mean, it all depends. What did you drive in high school?
I did not have a car in high school.
You're
asking me. No, I did not.
So what was your favorite bicycle? Because I'm not kidding, because we've had bicycles. We've had old Hiawatha bicycles come down here. And then it's what intrigues you?
Well, growing up in Chicago, my way of getting around was Uber and public transportation.
That's fun.
The train, the bus, and Uber. My favorite Uber to get in? Probably some sort of truck.
I do want to give a shout out here to our color guard.
Yep.
We have KPD doing, Kearney Police Department doing our color guard, and I think we honor them and our flag by rising and showing them the due diligence. I can't give enough of credit, enough of a tribute to these guys for all of the effort they've put into helping keeping us safe this week, the effort they've put into the nursing home and assisted living home tour, and just the dedication they have putting themselves on the line every day for us and our safety. And we never hear about it.
Right. Well said, my friend. Well said. Well, I think that means the parade's officially underway, Josh.
So right now we have our Master of Ceremonies. This is Bud and Betty being escorted by Brad and Kearney. And they are our DJs. They have been for years. They're amazing. We have the Eagle Riders, Color Guard, and we have Kearney Volunteer Fire Department. I don't know how else we could start it off better.
That's the best way to start off a parade, if you ask me.
I agree.
You get Kearney's finest, as well as the Color Guard, and another group that puts their lives on the line every day.
Every day. The dedication of our volunteers is tremendous in this community. And, of course, we have the Shriners. And I have no idea how they don't get in an accident with doing what they're doing.
Think you could pull off one of those little fez hats?
Absolutely not.
I don't think I could either.
They do it so well. I have a lot of respect for these people.
They sure do. How we doing, gentlemen?
Good, you guys? Awesome. And right out of the gate, we started with a Ranchero.
Now tell us a little bit about what couple of cars. So this is the Ranchero.
This is the
Ranchero. On the screen, that's the truck, but
no, that's a truck in the stream. The Ranchero now. This was Ford's. Actually, trying to remember who came out first, whether the Ford Ranchero or the Chevy El Camino. But a lot of...
now that's a horn.
That is a horn. Wow. Of course, we have a lot of people with a lot of pride in the things that they believe in, and that's awesome. These square body Chevy pickups have really become popular.
Yep.
Firebirds, we got all kinds of Firebirds coming down. And, we've got this Toyota coming down, this silver Toyota. And I want to emphasize, this is not about being in a box. What intrigues you about being an automotive enthusiast? And Ian, with his Toyota, he's so happy. And we got Blueprint Hinges, Factory 5 Roadster, throwing some keychains out.
I like the Toyota coming down and making its way into the parade. If you've got a car that you're passionate about, put it in the parade, right?
Exactly. So here's the problem with trying to tell people what they should think a classic car or whatever they are inspired by should be. If we do that, the hobby dies.
Right.
Because the people that want Model A's, they're an elderly generation.
Right.
What happens if everybody says you should like a Model A and nothing else?
No change, no diversity.
Exactly. And there's a lot of strength in diversity.
No kidding.
And so we have these young people that are excited about their Toyota, their BMW, whatever the case may be. That's awesome. And that's exciting. This young man and his Corvair go-kart has been coming for a few years. And I don't know how many more years he's going to fit in his go-kart, but it's so much fun to see him come down for this event.
Well, hey, while you're still fit in it, you might as well ride in it.
Exactly.
That's what I would say.
I don't know if I'd fit in that.
I don't think I would either. But if I could, I would enter it in the parade.
Oh, yeah, exactly. His mom is very supportive of him, and I love it. So you see a young man like that, that's a future auto enthusiast. He isn't going to be in a go-kart forever.
Right. Ooh, this is a great-looking Challenger.
Oh, yes,
here.
it is. Very much so. And that, there's a lot of, Mopar's done a really good job. Josh has done a good job with Challenger and with the Charger. Ford's done a good job with the Camaro, the Mustang.
Yep.
And Chevy's done a good job with the Camaro, trying to get that nostalgic appearance. And, in 20, 30 years, I hope they're still coming to car shows.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about that. 20 or 30 years from now, what kind of cars are we going to see in car shows? Like cars that I grew up with, Chevy Malibu or something like that. One day, what seems germane and normal to me is going to be in a show like this.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm old enough to know that 30, 40 years goes pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I think about like Camaros. I mean, we'll see some Camaros tonight, and I'm sure the Corvettes of 2024 and the Camaros we'll see in car shows in 30 years as well.
I hope so. I hope the hobby is still going strong by then.
Yeah. Well, tell us about this red Ford pickup here in the front. That's an interesting looking vehicle.
That's a 49 Ford pickup. He's had that for a lot of years, puts a lot of miles on it, enjoys it. Maybe that was a vehicle that his grandpa had one like it. Maybe that was his grandpa's vehicle. Maybe it was just something he really liked the body style. And to him, that's what he wanted to invest his time, his money, his resources in. And I've known him for a lot of years. He's taken that thing everywhere. I've never seen that truck dirty.
Wow.
And I know he puts a lot of miles on it.
Yeah. And that's the balance. That's the balance, I think, with car collecting. And I don't collect cars, but I have friends that do, family that do. And that's the tough balance is, okay, you obviously want to keep the car looking fresh, but you also want to show it off, and you also want to have some fun and be able to drive it.
Exactly.
Well, you put the miles on it, you got to be careful.
A few years ago, I talked about happy cars versus sad cars.
Yeah.
Sad cars may be pretty nice, but they're stuck in a museum or in a garage because they're not being driven. What you see today, what you see out this week at Cruise Night, these are pretty happy cars.
I would say so. They get to show off themselves.
Yep, and they're being used as they were intended.
And if you're just joining us, this is the Kearney Cruise Night Parade. My name is Jake Bartecki, co-chair for the Central Nebraska Auto Club. Josh Sykes, we are here, the cobblestone streets of downtown Kearney, getting quite a show, Josh.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about this.
So what else has been going on this week? I know it's not just tonight, but you guys have had events every day.
That we have. So we started off with Tuesday at a show and shine at Blueprint Engines. Blueprint Engines is a tremendous company. Norris Marshall is a man with vision, and the company he has built and the team he has there is tremendous. And they opened the week with their show and shine out there. and they had a great turnout. Wednesday night, we had our nursing and assisted living home tour. We had about 250 cars, give or take a couple.
That's awesome.
That went to, a lot of people, a lot of memories. We have a lot of nursing and assisted living homes in Kearney. We have the Veterans Home. We have a lot of community areas, city parks, and some of the people that can't come down today.
Yeah. And they get
the mobility.
it.
We took the cars to them.
And that probably made them feel quite special.
It's probably one of the most favorite events of the week.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
to drive around to those homes and to see the people and their faces light up as they recognize an old Jeep or a Model A or whatever the case may be, it brings a lot of joy. And then we always end up at the Peterson Senior Center, and a little ice cream, a little live music. It's a great event. Thursday.
Get to see something they maybe grew up with.
Oh, exactly. And you can see when their faces light up, when they recognize something. Yeah. Thursday, we had the show at Midway Chevrolet. Great show and shine. And we had Joseph Hall doing his Elvis impersonation.
How was the impersonation?
It's actually, he does a tremendous job. You'd think Elvis was on the stage.
Yeah. You go to Vegas, maybe not so much. The Elvis impersonators there.
I would pit him against any of them. And
that's what we
had over 620 people buy tickets for that.
That's great.
So that's at the Merriman. And then, of course, last night, we had Rusty Reynolds' classic car auction and a show and shine at the fairgrounds. I think he had, and don't hold me to this, but I think he had 96 classic car entries at that auction.
That's very cool.
Everything from Model A's to a 2-year-old Corvette. He had a Viper at it. He just, everything you could imagine was there.
Wow. Well, there's one of the first more modern Corvettes. So that'd be late 2000s, probably in there.
Probably, yeah, I would guess. I'm not a real up to date on Corvettes. I'd guess that was the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, I know kind of towards the later in the 90s is where they had the flip up headlights.
Yep.
And I don't see that on that one. So
that was actually a kickback to a earlier time.
Yeah.
Yep, in the 70s.
Those are great looking Corvettes. That's one of the things. I mean, Corvettes are one of my favorite, sport cars, American made. But also, there's just such a wide array, and they've developed them in so many different ways, like from what a Stingray is in 2024 to where they started.
Yep. No, you're right. Very much right.
Got an old Buick coming by, and then this interesting looking car.
A little S10 Blazer. You're talking about the Barracuda. Oh, the S10 Blazer.
The Blazer, yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's what trips your trigger. What makes you excited?
Yeah.
These early Barracudas are really neat with those big back windows. He's had that forever.
Right.
And his son's driving the Plymouth behind him. And a brand new Corvette.
And see, you could just see how different this one looked. That was something made within the last 2 years to what came by maybe 10 cars ago.
Exactly. Well, technology advances.
Yeah.
And we talk about, there's a lot of debate, old muscle cars versus new. And if a guy with a 70 Hemi Cuda or maybe a big block Mustang or whatever the case may be, was honest with themselves, and a new Coyote-powered Mustang GT or a new Hellcat Challenger, they're a lot faster.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. You don't feel the whine of the transmission. You don't feel the twist of the chassis. You don't, an old muscle car, it's almost violent when you get after it. When you're going through the gears and you're so in tune with what's going on with the vehicle. New cars are faster, it's not the same.
Right. Well, that's a classic-looking car. If
Yeah,
I've seen one.
Very standout, isn't it?
Yeah.
We got a 37 Ford. Right behind him's a 68, 69 GTO. And then we got a early 2000s Camaro behind him. It's just the personality of the vehicles is the variety, is the people that drive them.
You've got a Thunderbird. Is that what this red one is coming through?
That's a Camaro.
That's a Camaro.
That's a Camaro. Right. And we've got a GTO coming right up behind him, like a 66, 67.
I've seen a lot of colors, same color scheme as on the GTO. Seen a lot of same colors schemes as that one. Was that a popular color back in that time?
It was. You know, they had like 6 different colors that they could choose from, and of course over the years you'd see them painted all different colors, especially like the 70s. They'd have unique designs, whatever.
Sure. Yeah, kind of like that dark purple.
Right.
So you said they had 6 colors, and that was one of the popular ones. Same type of color for this one coming through.
Right. And don't quote me on 6. It depended on the manufacturer and the year, but it depended on the options, the vehicle, what was available. I mean, you want to talk about variety. Look at a new Mustang versus a 67 Mustang following them.
Right, back to back.
Exactly.
And a Dodge Durango.
Again, you don't want to tell a person what should make them excited. It's their personality.
Maybe next year I'll bring my Chevy Equinox.
You should. Are you excited about it?
I am. I do really enjoy that car.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Now, do you have any collectible cars in your possession?
We have a few. Here's the barber shoppers going by right now. Fred Wilson, he has been a teacher at Kearney High for years. He's retired now. Leads our community barber shoppers. And my beautiful Irish bride is pulling them in my pickup, and I hope all the barber shoppers make it. So we do have to answer your question, my bride and I have a couple of classic cars.
Okay.
So we've got a old Jeep. We've got a 52 Suburban, Chevy Suburban.
Gotcha.
We've got a 63 Impala.
What year's the Jeep?
79.
Wow. So you got all stuff from the 60s and 70s then?
Yes.
Yeah. So how much work is that? I mean, obviously some cars are easy to restore and keep restored than others, but your 3, how much time do you put into it?
It depends. I keep up on them so there are really no surprises.
Sure.
But, yeah, you've got to pay in mind. You've got to keep the oil changed, keep things fresh. They don't get a lot of miles, so you don't think about the oil needing changed, but it's something that's more seasonal than it is based on miles.
Gotcha.
Batteries, tires. Tires will age out way before they wear out, and people don't think about that.
Well, that's a cool-looking machine.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work in that. And I don't know what he does with this, but it looks like a party.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's 10 feet tall, maybe more.
I agree. Wouldn't fit in my garage.
No, mine neither, because I don't even have one.
We've got rock crawlers. We've got lowrider street rods. We've got classic 57 Chevy hardtops. Everything in between. One of the favorites of mine personally, if you look at this white Packard that's coming up, it's a late 40s, early 50s Packard. This is something that my grandpa probably would have driven. Well, in fact, he had a 49 Packard 4-door.
Beautiful car.
I look at that and I'm like, Packard was in competition with like Cadillac.
Interesting.
In their day. And to see something like that, that's pretty unique.
Where was Packard made?
In the U.S.
In the U.S. There,
oh, yeah.
But like Ford, Chevy. Like, who owned them?
They own themselves.
They did. Okay.
You realize
I had never heard of a Packard before.
Well,
tonight.
and you got to realize in the U.S. there were well over 2,000 automotive manufacturers since 1900.
Interesting.
I mean,
I had never heard of a Packard until tonight.
Oh,
so
yeah.
learned something here at the Kearney Cruise Night.
A lot of different ideas on how a vehicle should be made. A lot of different ideas on what luxury was. I mean, just think about how many gene manufacturers there are.
Another Mustang.
The Mustang, square body Chevy, 4x4. Popularity of these is insane. And it just keeps building. Value of them. And then right back to a classic Chevelle SS.
That's a beautiful color on that car.
It is a nice car. And again, give some tribute to our EMTs, our emergency responders.
Josh, you said they've been working all week, keeping everybody safe at Kearney.
They have been. They really have been. There's a hunting truck if I ever saw one. And again, not everybody's a Chevy, Ford, Dodge. We got an Oldsmobile.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And again, a new Camaro. Oh, I wonder what he's going to do. Oh, he's keeping tame. He realizes he's on TV.
That's another really jacked up truck. And
Yeah,
you're not sure what those are used for. That might be for show.
It's just for fun.
And for fun, yeah.
Yep. 59 Chevy pickup. Mid-50s Pontiac. 70 Chevelle SS. I mean, the variety is just insane. I mean, we've completely filled up downtown Kearney, and no two vehicles are the same.
Yeah. Now, I would guess not everybody in this parade, in this car show, is from Kearney. How many people have you had come from out of state or out of county?
Several.
Yeah.
So I talked to some people Wednesday night. One was from Wisconsin.
Okay.
One was from northern Michigan. We've had people from like 17 different states that have come to this event.
Interesting. And what have their thoughts been on Kearney, Nebraska, the show?
You know, it's interesting talking to them, and that's one of the fun things about the position I'm in. I get the opportunity to visit with them. This was their first, like the people from Michigan and from Wisconsin, first time they get to come up to this. They were floored with how friendly everybody in Kearney is. They loved how beautiful and clean our city was. And
that's great.
They were nothing but grateful for the community volunteers that put on an event at this level, because I don't think it happens where they're from. So it's a unique opportunity for us to showcase our wonderful community. And I think that it's a unique opportunity for Kearney to show people how wonderful the people from central Nebraska are.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. And it's great for Kearney that, you know, people from out of state are coming in. It's good for the tourism and the economy and the town as a whole.
It is. Yeah, and the Kearney, the city of Kearney embraces this. The markets, the stores, the community. I mean, look at the World Theater. July 19 to 21st, every movie's Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The whole community just dives into this.
Yeah. That's a good little wrinkle into the cruise night parade. Get Back to the Future going at the show.
Exactly. And earlier we actually had a DeLorean from the American Automotive Experience, the museum out by Camillus. Yeah. We had a DeLorean right in front of the World Theater from the museum.
That's very cool.
I'm hoping it's in the parade. I haven't seen it yet.
I like the silver rims on this truck here.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Good looking 68 Camaro. You don't see a lot of people doing the Mustang 2 generation Mustangs, but that's a pretty good looking car.
When did Cruise Night start?
37 years
37 years ago. And how did it get started?
So originally, the Central Nebraska Auto Club wanted to do a show and shine like most car clubs do. Mm-hmm. It started off with a show and shine on Saturday with a dance following Saturday night. It was a one-day event.
Interesting.
And it's evolved
since,
over the years to 5 days, 6 days. I mean, we have a full schedule. There's a lot of work that goes in this. We'll take, after this event, the committee will take a couple months off, and we'll get right into planning 2025.
Very cool. Very cool. 37 years strong.
Correct.
Blackout Mustang there?
That's Darth Vader's. He owns that one.
All righty. Perfect. On brand.
Yeah. One of the things I really I enjoy, I think is unique, is the European car, the BMWs, and some of the other European cars that have a big following in our community. It's fun to see what people build out of those.
Blue Challenger.
That's a Hellcat. That's probably one of the meanest cars you'll see tonight.
That's a great looking car.
Yes, it is. Right behind this yellow Camaro, we got an Oldsmobile 442. Oldsmobile, they were known at the time for luxury cars. They were known for basically your parents, your grandparents' car. When the muscle car craze took hold in the 60s, they weren't about to be left behind. And they took their Cutlass and made the 442, and they're probably one of the most memorable muscle cars from the 60s.
Now, what was that one that just went by on the screen there?
That's a Chevrolet. That's probably a 34, 35 Chevy.
Wow. That's in great shape.
Yes, well, that's not quite stock.
Oh, gotcha.
But somebody's put a lot of work into it.
I was going to say, if that's a 34 or 35, somebody's really put some work into it.
They really have. Yeah. They really have.
And the SpongeBob car.
Well, I was thinking from Transformers.
Oh, Bumblebee?
Bumblebee.
There you go.
And we got a 70 Mustang Mach 1, 62 Impala, 66 Ford. The variety that we see down here during this event is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about at the top of the broadcast. I mean, you just see cars that you see driving around on the street today and cars that were made in the 60s.
Exactly.
Another Challenger. And there you see some of the cars right in front of us here in downtown Kearney.
A lot of these are really a labor of love. I mean, it was quoted recently, I think the first Ford was sold, I don't know, 1908, something like that. And 15 minutes later, that guy customized it. People make vehicles their own.
Interesting.
They do things to say, this is mine. Nobody else has one like it. And I mean, whether you buy a new vehicle to change, put seat covers on, change the headlights, whatever the case, you make it your own. That's part of the culture. And that's kind of what we're celebrating here.
Low-ride GMC truck there.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah. Just don't scrape up the bottom.
when you drive them, they get hurt. They get scratched. It's part of it.
That is. Gives it character.
Yeah. So this is a 74 Porsche that we're driving by right now, the purple and black. It's a 50-year-old Porsche cruising around downtown Kearney.
And which one is the green one here?
This is a Le Mans, Pontiac Le Mans. Same body, basically. They made the GTO out of it, just wasn't as fancy as a GTO. 68 Chevelle. And then you got another 442. That 442 actually, it wasn't like a model number. It stood for, early it was 4-barrel, 4-speed, dual exhaust.
Huh.
And it changed what that 442 meant over the years. But there was meaning behind the number 442.
A couple of Volkswagen Beetles gone by the last 5 minutes.
I'm hoping you see some more. There's some really cool older bugs that were down here today.
Well, we got a little lull in the parade here, and Josh, I mean, just Kearney Cruise Night again. Emphasize how important it is to the community.
You know, you think about a lot of these parents that are walking around with their kids. This event's been going on longer than the parents have been alive.
Yeah.
They grew up coming to Cruise Night. They grew up celebrating our automotive heritage and the automotive enthusiasts. And as you see, it's alive and well in Kearney. It's one of the biggest celebrations of summer in Kearney. Part of it speaks for itself. Part of being the group that helps organize this.
Sure.
It's kind of humbling. You watch all this happen and you're like, wow.
It's impressive stuff. You saw the Pizza Ranch mobile come by.
I did see the Pizza
Looks pretty
Ranch.
good.
I'm hungry, so I didn't want to look twice at that right now.
Pizza Ranch is a great place. I do like Pizza Ranch.
Yeah, exactly.
Couple more nice looking vehicles.
Yeah, you got a Dodge Coronet ragtop. You don't things you just don't see running around every day. See a lot of Camaros, see a lot of Chevelles, you see a lot of Mustangs, and then some of the stuff you see today is not the routine.
Right. Well, we've seen a lot of cars come by. What's been your favorite? Has there been one that stuck out to you? You might have already seen them all before tonight.
I saw them all as I came in this morning, but that's okay.
Any of them stick out to you?
You know, a couple of the Mustangs really jump out. There was a 67 Shelby G2 350. This Oldsmobile that's coming through right now, that's a pretty good-looking car.
That is.
That's something you don't see every day. He's a member of our club. He's done a good job taking care of that vehicle. It's hard to say a favorite.
Sure.
I think what impresses me the most, depending on the vehicle, is the dedication to the hobby.
Sure.
When you see a car, maybe it wouldn't be something I would pick, but the person who owns that is really committed themselves to making it nice and taking care of it and preserving that. To me, that's impressive.
I've got one in mind. Mine's been all the Corvettes. I know I've mentioned the Corvettes quite a bit, but I just think there's so much diversity in what they've looked like over the course of the years. I mean, you saw it back-to-back with a Stingray and one that was built in the 60s.
Yep.
It just is impressive. Well, Josh, this has been a great night at the Kearney Cruise Night. You guys have a great little event. Thanks for having us along for the ride.
Well, thanks for inviting us. They're coming down and being here.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
He's Josh Sykes. Danny Alvarado has been our producer, and we've got all of our great camera crew here from News Channel Nebraska. Thanks for watching the 2024 Kearney Cruise Night Parade. Good night, everyone.
We now join regular programming on News Channel Nebraska.